I'm just going to start that now. And the goal of Qigong is really, how to skillfully work with our own energy. Physical energy of the body, emotions have their own energy, our thoughts, and sort of the spirit consciousness has its particular vibration of energy. And how do we work skillfully so that we are tuning into the types of energies that help us feel elevated, decreasing stress, releasing maybe energy that at one point served us but is no longer, and it's now causing some turbulence inside, and how to recognize that, how to work with it skillfully, release it, transform it so that it changes into an energy that is now a little more useful and beneficial for our mind, body, spirit. So anything we do here, this is a very effective, can be very effective and powerful modality of energy work. And it's really gentle, so nothing should feel in discomfort. If it is, whatever reason, you have some back pain or some knee pain, just listen to your body. This is also a really great way of starting to direct our attention. Some of you are already really familiar with meditation and how, it's really where our attention is focused. So a lot of us are actually meditating all day long, but our daydreaming, our attention is kind of focused on energy of like what's happened in the past or the future, worries, ruminations. And it's not that things are necessarily good or bad, but it's like, is that actually serving us to feel better, and how to kind of pull ourselves back into the present moment, because that's where we have our most power. So, on that note, we'll start with some gentle breathing. We'll move into methods of warming and activating the body to start feeling energy moving, to feel what's going on inside, our emotions. And then once we clear some stuff out, then we go into these really slow meditative movements that help tonify or strengthen our energy. So on that note, let's start with, so just look down, make sure that your feet are firmly planted. So feel the four corners of your feet, the pinky toe, the big toe, in and outside of your heels. Maybe rock back and forth so you feel where you are centered, so that your weight is right in the middle, so you're not too far forward. Maybe even actually sink a little bit more into your heels. Keep the knees nice, and they don't have to necessarily be bent, but a little bit of a light bounce. And then one hand on the lower abdomen, just below the belly button, and the other hand on top. And we'll just start with relaxing into the breath. So let the shoulders drop down away from the ears. Just notice the breath coming in and out through the nose. There are some techniques where we will focus on exhaling through the mouth, but for now, unless you have a sinus infection or something that's preventing airflow through the nasal passageway, we will be inhaling through the nose slowly, and then exhaling through the nose slowly. And on the inhale, feel your lungs expand. Really allow the belly to puff out so the diaphragm can descend, the lungs can fully expand on the inhale. And then on the exhale, feel underneath your hands, your belly pull back in towards the spine. And it doesn't have to be forceful. So just allow, it can be strong and powerful, but also relaxed. So just allow the belly to expand. Feel the air coming in, and then exhale. As you sink down, the belly pulls in and the air goes back out. So we're already starting by focusing on the breath. We are starting to already train our attention so that it is not bouncing around all over the place. It will. Our brains love to generate thoughts, but the goal is, how do we focus our attention? So where the mind goes, energy follows. We're putting our attention on the breath, energy will go into the breath more powerfully. And then drop the arms down. So we'll go into a few spinal cord opening exercises to begin with as part of our warming up and activation. So keeping the arms nice and loose is turning from the hips and the waist. Let the arms start to swing and knock across the lower abdomen and the lower back. So this is an exercise that we call knocking on the door of life. And the door of life is that space at the very base of the spine, right here in the center, and just off of the center. So we start to activate our energy, even doing knocking on the door of life where we're knocking across these energy centers. We start to allow energy to be mobilized and to rise. And then let's continue to turn from the hips and the waist. We're just knocking across now, just under the collarbone. So opening up the lungs. Continuing to breathe in through your nose and out through your nose. And then let's come all the way to the top of the shoulders to release the neck, the traps. And then come back down under the collarbone. Just thinking about starting to, as we knock, right, we're sort of awakening the energy in these various areas. Starting to release some of that energetic potential, and then back down to the waist. And then drop the arms. Just continue to move from the hips and the waist. So the arms are just now caressing the space around you. So letting the fingers be nice and relaxed. Be feeling the space between the fingers, the airflow through. And we start to slow down. So we're going to do a little bit more today, focusing on the lower part of the body. So let's see, what did I want to do next? I wanted to do some chi massage next. So we're going to actually go right into chi massage, which is knocking across or slapping across various parts of the body, the meridian systems really in Chinese medicine. So we're going to start with the door of life area, and we're just going to knock from the sacrum up to the lumbar spine and then back down. So we're just knocking across these acupressure and acupuncture points to help stimulate and mobilize and awaken the energy so that we can then work with that mobilized energy in a skillful way. Releasing tension. Right? What is tension? It is blocked up energy that we can start to release and then create some flow so that we're using that energy to help elevate and uplift us rather than maintaining a contraction, which can be very exhausting. And then from the glutes, we're going to travel down the out and back side of the legs. So down the hamstrings, behind the knees, behind the calves or on the calves, and then coming up the inside. So the inner ankle, the inner calf, inner knee, inner thighs, right up to the hip crease. And then we'll come around again and do that again. So we're following the trajectory of these meridian lines. So we're working with and promoting flow through these channels. Let's do that one more time. And then let's stay here right at the hip crease for a moment. These are called the leg gates. So an area that tends to get a little stuck and stagnant. So just releasing some energy here, come to the outside of the hips. Back below the abdomen, below the belly button, excuse me. And then come up above the belly button to the solar plexus area. And then travel over to the right side, to your right side. So I'm mirroring you. So start at the base of the rib cage, and we're going to go down towards the inner hip and then back up and then back down. This is the area of the liver and gallbladder. And then let's come over to your left side, which is the area of the spleen and stomach. And again, so from the rib cage down to the inner hip and then back up. And then let's come right over the belly button. And then drop the arms down and close your eyes. Just start to pay attention to those sensations, right? As we start to knock across, warm up, and awaken our bodies, right? We'll be able to maybe sense a little bit better how energy is moving or not moving. And now let's open your eyes if they're closed. Let's come to a wider stance. So maybe 3 feet apart. And then bend your knees, hands are on your thighs, and we'll start to shift the weight from the right foot to the left foot. So shift the weight first and then relax the spine. So that as we shift the weight, so the weight really, we shift from the lower part of the body first. And then if we relax the upper body, then we can see that we can allow this natural flow to happen through the spine laterally. So we're moving and shifting the lower part of the body, and then the torso, the upper part of the body, the spine can start to undulate from right to left, keeping the head and neck nice and loose. So moving the body like a river. Think about how a river flows, right? The water effortlessly traveling down a mountainside. So that's sort of the quality that we can think of when we're shifting the weight and moving, allowing the upper body to start to relax and move with the flow. Inhaling and exhaling. So breathing. Opening up the hips. Creating some flexibility in the spine. And then releasing the neck, the shoulders, the head. And then come to the center. Let's take one hand and grab your other wrist. and stretch those arms way above you. Take a nice inhale. And then with a flat back, keep your knees bent, extend forward and then all the way down towards the earth. And then with bent knees, you're going to start to roll back up very slowly. Again, inhale, stretch. Exhale, roll forward. And then very slowly back up. And let's do that one more time. Inhale, exhale, forward. And inhale. One last stretch. We'll go into moving the body like a river one more time. So again, bend the knees, and you can play with this too. So I always say if you're a little more upright, it is maybe a little bit easier, maybe. If you let your body come forward a little bit, it takes a little bit more strength in the legs than if you're upright. So whatever feels good for you. If you want a little more challenge, or if you feel this being upright, you get dizzy, whatever works for you. But again, start shifting the weight from the right foot to the left foot. Think about moving first the lower part of the body, and then the upper body gets to just relax and roll. Part of the first half of class is, like I had said, starting to warm things up, right? We move better when our muscles are warm, energy moves better. If there's some activation, we are warm, right? When we are alive. So this life force, this heat, we start to activate so things move more fluidly and soften and open. So we are able also to release the tension and stagnation inside. So think about generating heat and then steaming the inside, steam cleaning the inside. And then come to the center again. Let's stretch up one more time. Take a nice inhale. And then slow exhale with a flat back forward and down. And then inhale, roll all the way back up. And exhale forward. Inhale. This time, let's exhale forward. You can either keep your hands on your thighs if you don't feel like folding all the way forward today, or you can bring your hands to the earth and let the crown of your head reach towards the earth to help allow the upper spine, the shoulders, the head to be really relaxed. So we're releasing the muscles, the spine, all along the back. And then opening up the hamstrings, the back of the legs, all that energy that gets stored. You can stretch it and open it. And then one last time, grab one wrist with the opposite hand and then start to slowly roll up. One last extension and then release all the way back down. Okay, great. Let's come back to our neutral stance. And let's do one more thing before we go into our flows. So this is really good at generating energy internally to strengthen the legs. So this is called turtle. It's a strengthening posture with breath. Actually, before we go into it, take your hands and place them on your lower back, because the breath that we incorporate with this posture called the turtle is kidney breathing. So kidney breathing is, again, where we're placing our attention. So your hands on the lower back, tuck your tailbone down slightly so that you're making some space in the lower back. So if you're duck-tailed, right? If you tuck your tailbone down. You're going to create a little bit more space in your lower back. And then on the inhale, imagine you can send the inhale into this area and expand the back. So almost like you can feel underneath your hands a little expansion throughout the kidneys. So that is the breath. Our hands won't be on our back, but the hands on your back can make the breath a little more apparent. So now release the arms. Let's take a little bit, not a narrow stance and not a very wide stance, sort of like a medium stance. And the feet are slightly turned out. So there's a couple of different levels of this. So we're either going to be in a bent knee position with the hands above the knees. That's the first position. The second position is going to be the elbows on the knees. I'm going to turn sideways so you can see me. And then the third position, a little more difficult, is your elbows are inside your knees and pressing your knees out, but resist by contracting your knees in. So you're creating some resistance. So come back up for a moment. The point I want to really make here is that whatever level that you prefer right now, your back should be flat. So you don't want to be in a curve. You don't want to be rounded. So it might be hard to see. If you have someone with you, they can check to see. And your chin is going to be tucked in, so you're looking towards the earth. So you don't want to be looking up, crunching the neck. And when we're in the turtle, we'll go through kidney breathing. So we'll get into position, slow, deep breath, imagining that you're sending the breath into your kidney area. So, and we'll hold it just for about 10, 20 seconds. So whatever iteration. So again, feet slightly out, bend the knees, either hands on top of your thighs above your knee, elbows on top of your thighs, or just inside. And you can gently curl the hands and then tuck your chin down. And then start to slow breathe, imagining you're sending the breath into the kidney area. In through the nose and out through the nose. Nice and slow. You should feel a little heat being generated in your legs. If they start to shake a little bit, it's okay. Just hang here another 2 breaths, nice and slow. And then now put your hands on your thighs and then very slowly, we're going to roll up. So very slowly start to straighten your legs and then very slowly start to allow the spine to unfold. Let your hands be nice and relaxed by your sides. Close your eyes. You should feel energy is expanding. So we generated a lot of heat in these big muscles of the legs. And as we breathe, we start to disseminate that energy throughout the body. So now we're going to inhale the arms slowly out to the sides and all the way up. And then very slowly exhale all the way down. And then again. So as we generate energy and expands, we then go into a yin type of movement to bring energy back down. Everything is a balance in QiGong, balancing of yin and balancing of yang. Too much expansion without a counter energy, sometimes it's too much. So we counter it with a slow breath, bringing everything back down. And one more. Okay. And now let's just gently start to shake before we go into our flows. So keep the breath nice and easy. We're just gently allowing the wrists, the elbows, the shoulders to relax, and we're just shaking everything out, a little bounce in the knees. And for this, you can actually inhale through your nose and exhale through your mouth. And one more inhale. And then start to slow down. And let's just pause here for a moment. Slow the breath down. So now we've warmed up, we've activated and stretched a little bit, generated some heat. And now we'll go into these very slow meditative movements as a way to now work with that energy that's been released, that potential to help us feel connected, and our minds clear, our heart feels open and light, and our bodies feel youthful. So we're actually going to start, just keep your hands lightly on your thighs. We're going to go into something called the wave first without the arms, and then we'll include the arms. So we're going to exhale the body forward, but lead with your chin. So almost like you're pointing forward with your chin, extending it forward on the exhale. So it looks like this. And then as we come forward, the chin tucks down, and then roll the spine all the way up. So if we start here, we're coming forward almost with a flat back, leading with the chin. Then the chin tucks down, and then roll the spine all the way back up. So we're creating a wave through the spine. And then inhale up. Nice and slow. Exhale forward. And then inhale, rolling up. Nice, slow inhale. The goal here is moving with relaxation. So allow tension to melt away. You're connecting your breath to your movement, and our attention, right, is on both our breath and the movement simultaneously. So just think, be putting our awareness on moving slowly. That's the intention, with relaxation. So where are we holding tension as we're moving through this flow? And relaxing those areas. Exhale forward. And then unfurling all the way back up. So the movement, really the movement's coming from the center. So as the chin comes forward, it's really the tailbone gliding back, the chin reaches forward. And then as the chin tucks down, you're tucking your tailbone, and then the movement is coming from rolling the spine back up. So the tailbone glides back as we extend forward. And then as we curl the tailbone down and roll up, the chin tucks in and we roll up. So moving from the base of the spine all the way up and then back down. Now inhale all the way up, and we'll go into the same thing, but now we'll include the arms. So nice and relaxed. So without tension, we're going to start with the palms facing forward. The hips will push forward slightly, And then almost like you're taking a big, or you're grabbing something from behind and up and over, and then the tailbone glides back and the arms extend down. So inhale, the hips are moving forward slightly as we open up the arms, coming from, the lateral part of where you are, up and then over, thinking about a big wave, right? As it comes up, it's gathering energy, and then the crest, and then the wave comes down. So inhale, gathering, and then exhale, releasing down. So inhale, nice and easy through the nose, and then exhale back down. So we're still creating that same wave through the spine. The arms are just an extension of your center. Inhale up, wrists nice and relaxed, and exhale down. Nice and slow. We move slowly with relaxation, right, as a way of strengthening the energy of the body. Seems counterintuitive, but when we relax, we have more power. After your next exhalation, let's pause with our palms facing one another. So we call this our chi ball. So placing your awareness in the space between your palms. Right? We're creating a field here. You can actually feel maybe as you pull your hands apart slightly, let them fall back in towards one another, that you feel maybe this gentle push and pull. So we're working in Qigong with the form and the formless. The form is our body, right? And the formless is the stored energy, the stored potential. Or the freely moving energy throughout the form. Now we'll go into the fountain. So similarly, right, as the tailbone, as we were moving the body with the wave, the tailbone will glide back. And as we do, the back of the hands come together this time. And then as we roll the spine up again, the hands will come up just to your collarbone, and then exhale the arms back down. And as the hands fall back in towards one another, the tailbone glides back again, back of the hands almost together, and then roll the spine, coming up on the inhale, and then a slow exhale as we float back down. So back of the hands together, we roll the spine. So it's the spine rolling that's helping to draw the hands up, and then we sink back down. Inhale, and then exhale. So this is a flow that's also really beneficial for the kidney energy. We're actually tracing the meridian line of the kidney channel here, up the inner portion of the legs, coming up to just under the collarbone where the kidney channel ends. And then we exhale back down to the beginning. So drawing energy up, letting it expand out, and then come back down. And once you have the movement, the mechanics, then I encourage you to relax and think less about the form and feel how your body's moving. Right? And maybe as you relax, just like a boat floating down the stream over the current, we feel our bodies are moving in a similar current. Right? When we're in that flow state, there's a level of effortlessness that we sink into. And it starts to feel like you're moving just in alignment with this natural current that's all around us. And let's bring our hands into our chi ball again, feeling maybe a tingling, maybe it feels more substantial now. And then our final movement is going to be embrace the tiger, return to the mountain. So start facing forward or your hands facing one another on the inhale. And then on the exhale, separate the hands away from one another. So you're slightly forward. Now, as we inhale, bring the back of the hands back in towards one another and roll the spine up, just like we were doing in the fountain. This time on the exhale, you're going to push your hands forward. So your index finger and thumbs are making almost like a little diamond on the exhale. And then we inhale, reach up. And the entire inhale, we're just tracing almost like an invisible circle around us and coming back to the starting point. So we inhale, the hands come together. Exhale, spread apart. Back of the hands come together as we inhale and roll the spine, and the hands come up to about shoulder height. Exhale forward, pressing forward gently. And then inhale all the way back around. So again, just taking a nice inhale here, and then exhale. And then inhale, rolling up. Exhale, push forward. And then a nice inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. And then inhale, rolling up. Exhale. And then Inhale and exhale. Inhale our chi ball, and then exhale, spread. Inhale, rolling up with relaxation, just gently pushing forward. And a nice inhale all the way down. Exhale. Inhale. So we start on the exhale, spreading the arms, coming together and rolling up on the inhale. Exhale, push forward, and then inhale and exhale. Inhale. So as we go through this, right, the tiger, representative of our internal strength, it's related to the lungs. So it's about courage, how we bring our strength outward, celebrating our strength and courageousness. And then the mountain, returning to this deep space of peace internally. It's a powerful energy, as powerful as a tiger. But if the tiger is about our external power, internal power too, the mountain is really representative as this gigantic internal mountain, a reservoir of peace and tranquility that we can always come back to. Right? It's this centeredness, this piece of us that is always there, that will always will be. As our bodies change, our chi changes, even our thoughts change. It's that portion of us that was always there from when we were born to when we were an adolescent, a young adult, to now. That is who we are deep inside, that is ever present and unchanging. And then one last time, all the way back down to our chi ball, one last time. And let's bring the feet together, and then we'll finish with centering. So inhale your right arm out to the side and then above the center of the head, and then exhale down the center. And now inhale, left arm out and up, and then down the center. Right arm. And left. Bring everything back down the center to be stored in this lower dantian, the lower elixir field, right below the belly button. Let's center that one hand on top of the other for a moment to store this strength, peace. And when you're ready, you can crack your eyes open. Thank you everyone for joining me. Hope you feel good and take this with you, this feeling, right? This elevated feeling, maybe with you, right? This is the practice. We practice here, but the goal is to feel when we're out of tune, even through the normal course of life, and be able to recalibrate more easily, more quickly. We recognize it and can kind of self tune as we go through the day. So, thank you so much for joining me. Next week, I'm not here because I will be away at a teacher training in California. So, no class Monday or Friday. So, I will see you the following week. Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you.